we're gonna do a new segment here, kind of stealing off TikTok, but we're gonna do it anyway. It's called Overrated or Underrated. So I'm gonna name a player, and you guys are gonna give me overrated, underrated, or properly rated. Are you both ready? I have just, I haven't told them the names ahead of time. I didn't even know the names ahead of time. So this is going to be off the top of their head.
I got one or two, too. So.
Okay, yeah, we'll throw them around.
All right, good.
All right, so I'm going to start off with one player. We'll have Dan go first. Brian, you go second. So the first player is Everton's James Rodriguez.
Overrated?
You can give a little bit more if you'd like.
Well, I want to see what he has to say first, and then I'll dive deeper.
Brian?
I fully agree. Overrated. Yeah,
okay.
Overrated.
Don't get me wrong. He's a great player. I think he's improved the Everton team this year. There's no arguing that. To me, I think I spoke about it on the pod before. Like, he got big during the World Cup. He had a season or two that were pretty decent with Real Madrid, and then he went to Bayern for a little bit and didn't do too much, maybe on loan. But he's a player where, like, I think he got bigger because of the World Cup and his performance there. And I just think, like, his name, he hasn't lived up to what people have kind of said he would be and turn out to be. Still great on the ball. He can score, he can basically create from nothing at times, but I also feel like he goes missing in games a lot too, like very much like Ozil has in the past. So great player, but I think he's overrated compared to how people perceive him.
Gotcha. Okay. Next player, unless you want to say something, or you agree with that?
I agree. I mean, he came in Everton. The one thing is, I think there was just a lot of hype of him coming into Everton.
Yeah,
he got hurt for a little bit. No, I think that he was like going to come in, and people thought like he was really going to bring them to the next level. I just think that hype kind of just he didn't live up to it.
Yeah. All right. The next player on our list. Remember, this is overrated, underrated, or properly rated. The next player on the list is Sadio Mané.
I think properly rated. I think he's one of the best attackers in the league, and I don't think you can argue that. He may not be having the best season this year, but he's still the past 2-3 seasons, even when he was with Southampton, he was one of the best players going forward. Technically, he's really good on the ball. He's super quick, super agile. But it's been a bit of a rough season for him, so I would imagine some people would say he's overrated. I still think he's got a lot of potential. He's still pretty, I think he's in his prime age, but I think he's properly rated. I think he's still one of the best in the league.
Brian?
I agree. I think he's properly rated. Like Dan said, if you look...
Well, you guys are killing our fucking content right now, by the way.
I mean, if you look back, to his previous seasons, compared to those seasons, he's probably overrated right now, but... Yeah, he still is one of the most prolific goal scorers in the league. I mean, you can't really argue with it. I think he's probably rated right now.
I honestly would have said underrated, as crazy as that sounds right now, but that's me.
Right.
I just think he gets overshadowed by Salah because he puts more stats up, but I think Mané honestly is as good as Salah, in my opinion. So I would honestly would have said underrated. Who's the last one? I wanted to do one more. Let me think. Unless you guys have one to throw out, and I'm going to try to think of the last one. I've been thinking
this whole time.
I'll throw one out.
Okay.
Danny Ings. Ooh, got you guys.
Underrated. Because I think if he has a better team around him, he could be just as good as any striker in the league, probably. In my opinion.
And he's fought through injuries, remember that too.
Right. I mean, I really imagine having a De Bruyne feeding Danny Ings. I think he could be just as good as any striker in the league. He has the IQ and the positioning and the nowhere to be where the ball is. I think he's a smart player. If he has a better team around him, I think he's as good as anybody, in my opinion.
I'm between overrated and properly rated.
Well,
all right, let's hear it.
Can you say one?
I'm going to go with... I don't know. I'm going to go with properly rated. I don't know. I haven't seen, you see that he could score. I mean, he's obviously, the best goal scorer for Southampton. He's probably he's their best player. I just don't think if you put him on a team with De Bruyne or Bruno or any of these top teams who have players feeding the ball, I just don't think he would score as much as you'd expect him to. I just don't think he would. I think the reason he shines as bright as he does is because he plays for Southampton and they don't have those big star players. So I would say he's properly rated.
Okay. You have another one?
I do.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. I like this. I'm trying to think of players. I don't.
Guys, if
This
you guys
one might
like,
be an easy one, but I want to.
if you guys like this, by the way, we'll make this a weekly thing. I mean, there's enough players in the league where we can talk about them. So
Adama Traoré.
that's hard because it's like, where is he rated now by people? 'Cause
Yeah. Hasn't played a lot either.
Let me think.
I'm struggling with this one.
I'm gonna say he's properly rated. I mean, I think he is what he is. He's a fast, physical player that can change a game with speed, but can also disappear. I mean, the thing is, like, watching him play, like, yes, he's great. Like, he looks insane, which is part of the hype. I think that happens because of him. But like, I never thought he was one of the best players in the world. You know what I mean? That's me though. Like, I don't know if like the public views him differently, but like he is what he is. I don't think he's anything different. I don't think he's anything more. He's anything less. He's a fast, physical player that at times can change games, and at times he just gets washed out if he can't break through from defenders. That's my opinion. I'm gonna say properly rated.
I'm gonna say underrated. I think especially this year. I don't think he's had enough time. I don't think he's got enough playing time this year. I think, I think the first game he came back where he really got some minutes, I was watching, and I think he was on for the last like 30 minutes, and he was immediately the best player on the field for both teams. I think there's areas of his game that can use work. Like, I think he's a good defender. Obviously, he's quick. He's extremely physical. The one thing that can use work is him going forward in the attacking areas, whether he's going to take a player on or put the ball in the box. But, this year alone, because he hasn't got the playing time, when he does, he's one of the best players on the field, in my opinion. So that's why I'm going underrated.
All right. I think we'll keep it at 4. 4 is a good number, and if you guys like this, we'll do more next week.